Oh, here we go. We are good. Wow, that took a little bit of time for you to get going. Okay, let's get the party started. Hello, everyone. This is Sir Campalot here, and I have give a little introduction about yourself because we might have some new viewers on this live stream.
Well, hi everyone who hasn't kind of interacted with me before here at the Portland store. I'm Manny. I am the assistant manager here. I've been here at Snow Peak now for just a little under 5 years. So when it comes to kind of recognizing faces, like I'm sure most of you who have been in here have interacted with me and probably made either your first or big purchase through me. I'm one of the few kind of people around here that is very knowledgeable in just about every product piece that we have in the company. So I end up becoming one of the go-to people for those little nuances and kind of new and old product. But yeah.
Yeah, Manny's very convincing, so don't talk to him for too long because you'll end up with spending a lot of money at Snow Peak. Just FYI.
That is true.
So Manny, how are you? How was last time I saw you was at store camp? How was that experience for you?
Yeah, the store camp was fun. We just got to hang out for the weekend, which was nice. We were over at Campfield. The weather cooperated, I would say, a good majority of the time. The last day, could have been nicer, but it also could have been worse. So, yeah, store camp was fun. It was a good gathering and kind of hanging out with people.
Yeah, so store camp is just basically a smaller Snow Peak Way, basically, but it's organized by Snow Peak Portland, right?
Yeah, store camp is kind of like Snow Peak Way. It's just dialed down in terms of like activities, so people don't feel rushed to have to be in one spot and then move on to the next one. It really is just about getting to know everyone else who is there and is also like a fan of the brand and camping. And you just kind of get to connect with other people and just like build like relationships, which is the main kind of goal for store camp. It's just to get people out and connected with each other. Because it's always nice to see some frequent people like showing up and just kind of you see them building those friendships now, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. So all the Portland stores employees were there, right? Staff were there?
Yeah. Most of my staff showed up. Those who didn't end up getting sick right before we had to take off. But the bulk of the staff was there. They all had a good time kind of hanging out with customers outside of the store setting. So they didn't have to feel like they had to sell them things and just get to know their actual like customers and see what they're about, what they do outside of like camping. So it's a fun experience just to get to connect with people and just build great relationships.
Great. Yeah. I had a great time. It was really great hanging out with some of my friends in Portland, and we all kind of gathered there. Had a big group hangout area for group, and it was great connecting with some of the staff from Portland and talking to other campers at Campfield as well, because it was Campfield's 1 year anniversary. So it's kind of like full circle for me. So it was really great. Campfield once again after it being open for a whole year, and to see how far it's progressed. But beyond that, let's talk about summer is coming. So we want to talk about some camping gear for the summer season. And speaking of camping gear, you guys hang tight, because throughout this live stream, I'm going to tell you guys how to get additional entries for the giveaway. And then towards the end of the live stream, I'll announce the winner for the giveaway. Manny will help me pick a winner randomly for the giveaway. But let's talk about what is the best-selling item at Snow Peak, or what's the most popular item at Snow Peak for summer camping, whether it's a tent, tarp, or maybe some kitchen equipment. What's hot out there this summer?
Yeah, the big things that we kind of see year over year, it's usually the same kind of pieces. They're good introductory kind of options for people to get you into camping or even just like backyard gatherings. When it comes to kind of cooking setups, right, we've got 2 ways to go. We've got the Takibi fire and grill sets, right? So if people just want to have like a bonfire, or they want to cook over like an actual fire like that, you have that option. Another thing that people like to pick up for cooking purposes is the IGT kitchen starter set. that's just one of those where you kind of build out, you have your whole little kitchen built out and you don't have to think about how you're going to fill out the table frame and all that. And it's just kind of ready to grab and go, have that option, right? To get more extensions, more stoves or whatnot, and really make it your own. Another popular item since it launched back in 2021 that we always see people picking up has been the Takebe Hexatarp. So that will, provide you shade in the summer. It'll provide you protection from the rain in the winter time and all that. You can have an actual bonfire underneath and run it safely and not worry about scorching your tarp, because the Takebe Hexatarp will come with that additional fire resistant liner in there. And yeah, it's just a great way to kind of be able to enjoy the outside kind of year round and not have to worry about the elements. And then for those of you who are camping, probably the best selling tent since that came out originally for the US market was the Alpha Breeze. So it gives you a nice, generous footprint, and it gives you height for all of you who are significantly taller than me, who want that headspace. Like, that's been a very popular setup, super easy, packs down small enough, fits, in a trunk easily, and you still have plenty of space for more gear.
Yeah, for sure. I think for people who are new to the brand and they're just starting out camping, they happen to find out about the Snow Peak brand, and Alpha Breeze is definitely the go-to, right? You pick up an Alpha Breeze, it's tall enough or high enough for you to be able to stand inside of it, and it's very, really enjoy that. And I think for my first Snow Peak item was the Takebe Fire and Grill, and I totally suggest, getting that. If you're not like super into cooking a big giant meal for yourself or for a group, I mean, I think the Takebe Fire and Grill is a great way to cook over the fire. If you like that, it's very minimalistic. You can have a bonfire and cook over the fire. And like you mentioned, the IGT starter set, it's great because when I first started with the my Snow Peak collection, I kind of didn't know where to start because I was a little overwhelmed with how many choices there were. I ended up going with the entry IGT, which I was very happy with. But I think what you said, that the starter set has comprehensively all the things that you need for a camp kitchen for either a 2-person or all the way up to maybe even 6 to 8 people, I would say, because 4-unit frame's pretty big, right?
Yeah, you get that 4-unit frame, and like I said, you can just buy kind of additional things that you might want to add on to it, and it's super easy to expand off of it. When it comes to just cooking setups in general, a 4-unit frame is probably most people's go-to. Then after that, everyone just needs to figure out what leg height you want, because when it comes to the whole IGT system, you've got your 4 leg height options. You've got your standing, your sitting height, your low height, and then what we call ground. And yeah, that's, you start your, but with that kitchen starter set, it's a standing setup. You have all of your inserts, and it's a great thing to not think too much. You just kind of grab, go, and just start using.
It's kind of like going to your favorite fast food restaurant and say, can I have a number 2 or number 3, right? It's a set menu. So that's what it is with the starter set. I like that a lot. Well, I actually really like the Takebe Hexatarp because I think it's great. I don't know any other brand that allows you to have a fire under a tarp. I can't think of one in America that allows you to do that. And I think that's such a fantastic product that, you get to have a fire under a tarp, because people who walk by my campsite and they're like, this guy's crazy. He's got a fire under a tarp and it's raining and, I got everything going on. So I think it's a very comfortable tarp for me and my family to kind of hang out regardless of what the weather is. And I think I like using the Takebe Hexatarp the most during the fall, because it's just something about the rain and having a campfire under the tarp while it's raining is just really awesome. It's just so peaceful when that happens. I think, what else? I also got to say that over the years, I've kind of really found a love for the Jacaro table. What do you think about the Jacaro table, man?
The Jacaro table, for me at first, I was all like, I would never use this, but now going camping enough with friends who do bring their table around, I started to realize how kind of necessary it is now to have that, because we will bring out the Jakar ring and then we'll start connecting like IGT pieces off of it, and just have like more space to like put down our plates and like cups and all that when we're eating. And then we kind of will put extensions off of there and be able to like play card games on top of that. So I started to realize how kind of necessary it is, especially when you own one of the Takibi fire pits.
Yeah, it's definitely really awesome. And now that I have a baby that's starting to crawl and wanting to walk and just kind of like hands everywhere, walk everywhere, getting into dangerous situation, I think it's a great barrier also if you have kids, to kind of give them that extra protection from them trying to get close to the fire. So, and also if you have dogs too, it's also another great layer of protection. But for me, I find it it is a little heavy to carry around, but honestly, after carrying it so much, it's not even that bad in terms of the weight. But I like having it set up and we're able to cook, and just the whole shape of it is just how you're able to sit around kind of like a circular shape, and you're kind of like facing each other. It makes it feel like as if, it's a great gathering, it just feels really homey. So I really like that aspect of the Chikaro table. And you can really be minimalistic and have your Alpha Breeze, the Takibi Tart, Takibi Hexa Tart, Chikaro table, and Takibi Fire and Grill, and that's it. You have your really comfortable setup where you can hang out, just kind of hang out by the fire, cook over the fire, and just have a good time. So yeah, it's a great, and I think that is a set, right? Do you guys sell that as a set? For like $2,000 or something?
We have like a big kind of like package bundle that will help you save a little bit, so you're not having to buy kind of pieces over time, and you just do it all up front. And I think, that sounds about right. It's about in that just under 2K realm.
Yeah. I think the savings is like 15%. You get like 16% savings.
Yeah, because I think if you buy the Alpha Breeze and the Takibi Hexa Tarp on their own, you're already halfway there on that price. And so it's a good deal if you have the means to be able to just drop that type of money up front. It is going to be the best way, because most people who have any one of those 4 pieces ultimately will always get the additional pieces down the line. It's pretty rare that I'll have someone who will just own just the fire pit itself and that's it. They usually will also own the tarp or the Jakar ring.
Yeah, and all of these pieces last for years. Like I've had all of mine equipment for at least 3 years. And I know I have friends that have had his since like 2017. I mean, that's like 8 years, it's like a long time. He's got his Takibi Fire and Grill, his tarp, and his Chikaro table. It will last you. It is a big investment, but it does last a long time, and it's really great quality. Now moving on to something that is not often talked about in the Snow Peak community, but let's talk about a little bit about apparel. What's new this season, and what are you most excited for, Manny?
Apparel, right? Just like if you're familiar with any other brand that just specializes in apparel, it's always changing like year to year. Certain silhouettes kind of remain the same. Other things get tweaks and upgrades. And for us, usually, our spring, summer collection, we get like lighter fabrics and all that, which are great for outdoor or even just normal city life, especially when you live in a hotter part of the world. And for one of the kind of the pieces that have come in this past season, and that was popular last year, was this like waffle patterned textile. We've got these we've got like a short sleeve, like wide shirt, and then we have a hooded top, which is like super popular. Comes in a few different colorways. That's one of the pieces that like half of my staff love, and we always see customers kind of engaging with that.
Is it a thicker fabric? Is that what it is?
It's not thick. It's fairly thin, and it does a good job at kind of retaining warmth due to its kind of like waffle pattern design. But it also doesn't feel overbearing because it's it still breathes very well.
Right.
A couple other like lighter jackets that have come out, which I've been a big fan of. There's been an anorak that has very big, generous pockets up front, which I've been using while I've been traveling a lot. That way I can kind of stick like my passport, water bottle, and all that while trying to get through TSA. It's easier for me to manage all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Light jacket. It'll do nice. It's been doing so far nice in a light mist rain from what I've experienced. And because of its big opening or big body, I don't get way too hot, which is nice because it still allows air to get in when I am in those kind of warmer cities.
Yeah. Definitely my favorite piece for this season for apparel is definitely this rain jacket that I'm wearing right now. It's Gore-Tex. So it's extremely waterproof. That's all with Gore-Tex jacket. But I wanted to show you guys don't see this on the product page, but this jacket has this inner sleeve right here. You can see it. It's like really tight. So basically, you know, whenever I wear like a rain jacket, it's really loose. So when you raise your hands, like everything just kind of like pulls down, right? So this is an extremely smart design where it keeps your sleeve up so that way you don't get rained in. And the cool thing about this is if you don't like this, you can unzip it. It comes totally off and you can put it somewhere else. So this is probably like my favorite feature of the rain jacket, but it has a lot of pop.
One thing to point out on this new iteration of the jacket from last year is you've got this pit zip. So if you run too hot, you just really open that up to allow airflow in. Last year's jacket didn't have it, and that's what everyone wanted on staff. And it seems like Japan listened and they redesigned it and added that nice feature to it.
It's got a lot of pockets. And within this pocket right here, it has a divider inside as well. Then little divider where I can keep, I have chopsticks. Cool. Always got to carry it when I think I'm going to go out and eat, you know? So yeah, lots of pockets. It's really, really great. And there's also the pants for it. I haven't tried it out yet, but there's the pants and the hat. I got the hat here, but I didn't wear the pants. A little too much if I wore the pants today because it's not raining. But yeah, it's a great jacket. But I really want to talk about something that is really unique to the Snow Peak brand, which is Takibi clothing or Takibi fabric. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is and its composition and the different variations of the Takibi fabric?
Yeah, so for us, we have a whole Takibi line as well as what we refer to as the FR line, which is fire resistant. But both of those, the main concept to it is it's clothing that we can kind of wear when we are camping and we are embers flying around. And the idea is so it doesn't kind of incinerate the clothes. So that way, if you have an ember fall on you, you can easily like brush it off and it won't just instantly scorch a hole through your clothing. But I had to write some notes just to kind of refamiliarize myself with some of the kind of key points. But when it comes to the whole Takibi line, this was something that was introduced back in 2015. And the whole concept for this from Japan, it had to deal more with trying to create clothing that used, the fire-resistant fabrics that the military, firefighters, and first responders were using.
Wow.
Because, that's what they use kind of on a day-to-day basis. So they figured why not incorporate it into actual apparel that is more comfortable to wear. So it's like less scratchy, less stiff. So they kind of found the right blends of the cottons and aramid, because aramid is what is used to make the textiles like fire resistant. And they kind of took all of those kind of elements, and then they started looking at more traditional like workwear, and kind of started creating a whole line of apparel from there. And what Japan wanted to do is they wanted to prioritize like the apparel. So you will always see our actual Takibi line have. You're always going to notice stuff like what I'm wearing is a Takibi vest. This is like my favorite one, which is from 2020, if I remember correctly. And yeah, you're always going to see these very big pockets. There are multiple areas, so there are times where I just jam so much stuff in here that I lose track.
Back pockets as well.
The big back pocket is sort of my favorite for just doing stuff like this, dumping in there. If you see me in the store, once in a while you'll catch me with a laptop in my back pocket or an iPad. But yeah, the idea is it's like big pockets functional, right? Stuff you can take camping, stuff you can use while you're just in the city running errands. I love wearing the vest going to concerts and sporting venues, because usually they always have policies of like no bags or whatnot, but like this is the vest and I just use it as that. Once in a while security will hassle me for it, but they realize it is a piece of apparel and not a bag. And that's how I usually get through and just buy more knickknacks at these places and just have places to store them.
Yeah, that's a great tip. So you bring your water bottle in there and your drinks and maybe your snacks to the concert all in one place.
Snacks, water bottles are a bit more questionable in location.
Right. Yeah, definitely for me personally, like whenever I wear the Takibi vest, I can keep my extra lenses and other camera equipment. So it's pretty convenient for me, in addition to like camping gear stuff. But there's a lot of different variation of the Takibi vest, Manny. So what's different for each variation? Like generally speaking, I'm not talking about like specifically, from one year to another, but what do they look to change with each variation?
Let me grab my other vest that I've been using lately for traveling.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So for the longest, we've just had, for the most part, this basic kind of silhouette. And it's come in different color fabrics or different fabrics. What has changed over the years has been like the buckling system. This has like the older, big, bulky plastic buckles, which I love. Now it's just metal hardware. And it's just kind of, I think they're just style changes for the most part. I doubt that one's better than the other. They're just all different. But one thing that is sort of a newer silhouette, which looks at a quick glance, is, let me try to snap this the way I wear it. But it is what's called the Takibi weather cloth vest. This is a thinner fabric. It's like a mesh that will be an extra layer, which will allow for kind of more breathing, warmer climates. And then another great thing about this, compared to my vest, you have these straps here. This vest has an additional pocket on the side, which this size, I wear a medium because I like to wear it looser, and I usually will wear this over hoodies and whatnot. So I need that space. And it really will depend on how you want it to fit on you. You can go sort of true to size or just go oversized, because I've got, one of my staff is yay high and will wear a large because they like to wear it super oversized. I like to try to keep it somewhere in the middle, but yeah the vest, the Takibi weather cloth one, at first I was like, I like the old traditional style, bring it back. And then once I started using it, I realized like, oh, this is a nice option, especially for me having a dedicated water bottle, because I was using that vest heavily the last 2 weeks while doing a lot of traveling back and forth back home. It's worked out great.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is very unique to Snow Peak, and I think if you're new to the brand, it does get time to understand what's so special about the Takibi vest. Like I didn't really understand. How many Takibi vests do you have, Manny?
I think I have 5.
Whoa, that's a lot.
5 or 6.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a lot.
Yeah.
And they're all different.
I got 4, and Emma, my wife, she has 4. So
No,
Or even out?
it's definitely a great piece. Whenever I am traveling, I will always have someone who kind of stops me and asks me about the vest. Either just, you know, they always assume that it's some sort of fishing vest because, like I said, we do take inspiration from workwear and all that stuff. So this vest is sort of inspired from like your fishing, hunting vest with the way the layout is and the pockets and all that. So
for sure.
If you do end up getting one of these, just be prepared for questions.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm gonna give you guys the link to the form right now to fill out for the giveaway. So I'm gonna send it through YouTube here really quick, and then my wife's gonna send it through Instagram. Give me 1 minute here. We're live. It's like I can't press the right buttons on my keyboard. Okay, you guys have until we finish the segment for the next section to fill it out, and then I'm going to turn off entry. But speaking of the next segment, it's going to be about 2025 products. We have some samples here for you guys to check out. And in fact, what do we have behind us right now?
We have the new Landness shelter. We just got delivery of this in the store last week, and we set this up on Monday. This is a very generous size tent, especially at its price point. Super easy to set up. The crew.
How much is it?
It is how much? $750.
Whoa!
So that is a very good price for a big shelter that is almost as big as a landlock. So for all of you who had been asking about the Tuga and why it went away, this is why it went away. This is a tent that is just as big and even better price point than the Tuga, because the Tuga seemed to have been brought in to help people transition from like that L feel to a landlock. The staff that I had here on Monday, had them build it up and like, here, no instructions, figure it out. And they got it knocked out in about 15 minutes. So very quick setup, especially for its size.
Let's do a walkthrough, Manny. I'm gonna hold the camera and then you can kind of walk us through really quick for the next few minutes here.
Am I grabbing the laptop?
I'll grab the laptop. Right. You just do your thing. I will hopefully manage two things at once. Okay, go ahead, Manny.
We'll go around kind of this way since we have a bit more walking space.
What? Oh yeah, sorry. The keyword's gonna be summer. I'm sorry.
All right, so
keyword's gonna be summer.
As you can
let me get over here.
As you can see, kind of like its side profile, right? For all of you who already own an Alpha Breeze, you're gonna start noticing very similar shapes here. You've got your big A-frame construction, just like in the Alpha Breeze. And then, right, your Alpha is typically your A and then your extra front pole. Here you see it will connect on the front and it'll mirror the back, which gives it kind of that uniform spacing all the way around. You've got your two side doors on there that will have mesh windows as well, so you can keep it, sealed off to try to prevent the mosquitoes from going in. You've got your big front and back entryway. The inside of the tent will also have symmetrical connection points for that inner tent. If we want to come on inside, so you can get a view of that. right. The inside, we will have kind of the connected inner tent. You can run this as a shelter if you'd like and not put in the inner tent and just have this bigger open space. The inner tent itself, from us kind of playing around with what we put in here, it looks like you can put 3 of our cots in there comfortably. Without cots, if we're just talking about sleeping mats on the floor, you could probably squeeze about 5 people in here. 6 if you're super comfortable with each other. But I would probably say closer to 4 people, or at least 4 full-size adults. And
That's pretty cool. And it doesn't come with the inner tent. You have to buy it separately, right?
it does come with the inner tent.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
folks. And inner tent, a shelter and an inner tent, that is a steal. And so the large, sorry, I'm gonna put this back up here. Make sure get everything going. So guys, I gotta say this, the Land Nest large shelter is not available on Snow Peak USA's website right now. So if you want it, give Manny a call like today, like do it immediately.
I have 3 of them in store. And there's currently someone here who's interested in one already. So for those of you who aren't local and have been waiting for this to come into stock, like give me a call at the store here once we're open at 11. We can ship out from the store. If you are local enough and want to pick it up here, I would also kind of advise that you just kind of call and just kind of buy it over the phone and we can set it aside for you to pick up. Yeah, we got a very limited initial batch from Japan.
Yeah.
I'm told that the next kind of delivery is slated for like June. And yeah, I know as soon as this came out in Japan, like a lot of people out there had a hard time trying to get their hands on one.
Yeah, for sure.
It sold through fairly quickly.
Just a quick question, like, can it be like having more than one inner tent?
The way it's designed, it looks like you can insert a second inner tent.
I'll check.
Whether or not those are available, I still don't know that information. But from when we built it, I was kind of playing around with all of the connection points, and there is no front back to the tent.
Yes, it's symmetrical. Like
Yeah.
the tent, the shelter itself is symmetrical. So I did check. There are connections right here, and there's a central connection in the middle right here.
Yeah.
So I'm 5'11", and look how much headspace you got. So if you're like 6, I think this can fit for somebody who's like 6'3". They can stand up in there without touching their head on the ceiling. So that's a pretty high, tall shelter. But look, I mean, $750. Wow, that is a steal. It is an entry level tent, but doesn't mean just because it's entry level doesn't mean that you can't use it in the winter. So I think that's comparing to the Landlock, which is $2,000 almost. Living Shell Long Pro, which is almost $2,000.
Yep.
So I think this is a steal, guys. I mean, it's not that much more expensive than the Alpha Breeze. $250 more expensive than the Alpha Breeze, and you got yourself a big giant shelter where you can either hang out or have your family sleep in it.
It does fall under our kind of entry level of tents. It doesn't mean that it's not going to do well in bad weather. I would say the majority of our customers probably all have an entry level tent, which they do take out here in the Pacific Northwest while it's raining with like no issues. Most of my staff here, whenever we do our actual like either like staff camping events or store camp or Snow Peak Way, they're always using an amenity dome.
Oh, yeah.
And they're using like an old amenity dome, which is always holding up just fine. So
Yeah.
even our entry level stuff is designed to last a good while and not have any real issues.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got one more piece of item to look at. It's the new sleeping system. I know you guys are like really excited for this, but Manny brought some new 2025 sleeping system from the warehouse to show you guys. What do I want to do first? Do I want to do the mat?
Yeah, I brought a few pieces that I could get my hands on that are kind of part of the whole new sleeping system, because I'm sure all of you have seen on our site that we have no sleeping bags available.
Yeah. So first impression, this is the sleeping bag, and then this is the mat, right?
Yeah, so
Inflatable mat.
so this whole new system, right? We've got these pieces where this is going to be the new mat. Let me go grab the old mat just so you have an idea of size.
It's really small. It's like really compact and small, and apparently it is also rated. You can use these bags in the winter. So Manny's gonna pull out the original sleep pads here.
Just for scale,
Reference.
that is the sleeping pad that we have available.
Yes.
And then this is what will be arriving soon, I hope, from Japan.
Cool.
I haven't had too much time to play with this since I got my hands on it yesterday. But this is going to be a new kind of style of mat for us. This is going to be similar to other kind of sleeping pads in the market. It is designed to be more of a big kind of air bladder. And with this whole new kind of sleep system that we're coming out with, they will be available in like two sizes. There's going to be a wide version and a non-wide version.
You need help?
Yeah, I just packed it in there a little too tight yesterday. And it's an interesting system for what I was able to kind of try to figure out yesterday. So the biggest difference from this to what we have been doing is the old ones had a foam core to it. So on top of the foam, you did have to inflate. This one, there is no foam core. This is just a big air bladder.
Mhm.
And then the bigger valves for inflating, and it's designed to be able to be inflated with an actual like air pump. Which
Air pump sold separately?
That is what I'm still trying to figure out, if we are making the air pump or if there is a recommended brand to use for an air pump. But yes, that is one of the few bits of detail I'm still trying to figure out from Japan.
This side is a little thick. Like it has some padding right here.
Yeah, there's
What's the deal with that?
There is a kind of a foam core right in this little section. That is what I was trying to figure out yesterday playing with this. If this is just kind of intended for the
Is it a pump?
deflation.
Deflation?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Maybe, yes, since these are samples, this isn't the final product, but this is just so we can get a sense of what to expect. So
I don't think that you can pump with this. It will take forever. It's
Yeah.
just padded. Not exactly sure why, but anyways.
but one thing that I noticed yesterday were a bunch of these little kind of connection pieces that are found throughout the mat. And I was trying to figure out at first what it was for. And then once I started pulling out the rest of the pieces, it all started to make sense to me. This next piece we're gonna show you is a fleece liner. So this is designed to be used in conjunction with this new sleeping system. And you're also going to have all of these little extra straps, and that's what all those pieces on the mat are for. Connect it to the mat so it's not slipping off.
So you wrap this around the mat.
This is designed to wrap around you.
Oh, okay.
And then, so you go obviously on the inside of
Yeah.
this, but the outside will connect to the mat.
Oh,
so
okay,
the mat
cool.
will always be connected
Right.
to this fleece liner. This is all kind of intended to be part of a bigger full zip on the side. This is just all part of a layering sleeping system. So for those who run super hot or super cold, you can adjust everything that you need to be comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine camping this summer with just this liner. It should be okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you've got this as kind of an extra piece if you need it. And then this was the most kind of interesting part, is what seems to be replacing the sleeping bags for us. So this too. So this too, just like the sleeping mat, will come in two sizes. There's going to be a wide and a non-wide. And first I thought this was supposed to be a sleeping bag, but it is a big comforter that is also designed to kind of connect into the sleeping pad. This will come in a synthetic filling and then a down filling. That way, you kind of pick and choose your
Is
type
it
of
the
form.
synthetic or the down filling?
This one is the synthetic.
So is it gonna affect the?
Usually pack down smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, so at least from a packing point of view, like I believe the down should
Yeah.
be a smaller option.
So this is more like a blanket. It's not. I mean, the bottom here is empty. It's not
Yeah.
like a traditional sleeping bag, and it has like straps that snaps on to the.
To the sleeping,
the
to the
sleeping-
new mat.
Yeah, the new mat. These straps right here.
Yeah, so it'll wrap on there, and that whole system is designed to kind of work like a more rectangular
Mhm.
type of a sleeping bag.
Mhm.
Which is interesting because at least for me, for summer camping, no matter what I use, I'm always running hot for some reason.
Yeah.
So I hope that this new system will let me kind of sleep a bit more comfortably at night.
Okay, great. Thank you for telling us about it and pulling out the 2025 samples for us to check out.
The availability of the sleeping stuff, I'm not sure just yet. I know that there's a lot of stuff that is on its way to us, right? Because we do have updated versions of the Hazukis, which will have like the whole recharging aspect built into it. Like we're waiting for those. There's other hard goods that are coming in as well. And if it's anything like I've experienced in the past, from the 5 years here, I see it kind of release in Japan. I know that it'll be about 2 months before we get our delivery here in the States.
That's like just samples, right?
No, the samples most showed up, but the actual stuff that will be available to the public, it's once all of you have seen it in Japan, it'll be about 2 months and then we'll get it here. In some cases, Japan will be nice enough and send us kind of like a rush delivery if it's a small enough item that they can fly over to us. But most of the time, it takes some time for it to get on a boat and across the Pacific Ocean to us.
Great. Yeah, that sounds exciting. There's a lot more 2025 stuff that's coming, and
Yeah.
I'm like pretty excited for it. I'm actually looking forward to. I know it's small and simple, but the carbon monoxide detector, that one's like really useful for just that peace of mind kind of thing to put in your tent. So I'm looking forward to that, and there's a bunch of other stuff too. But definitely this shelter right here and the new sleeping system is definitely the most sought after 2025 items, and I'm glad that we're getting it earlier rather than later in the year.
Yeah.
And definitely perfect timing for summer camping, especially this shelter right here. So yeah. Yes, questions? Oh, okay. All right. So let's talk about what's ahead for 2025 in terms of, are there any plans for the store to host some events and maybe on a national level like Snow Peak Way?
Yeah, so the first thing up that we have, at least for us locally, is we will have an event at the end of this month. We're gonna have like a haiku hike that is gonna be happening here. That is on the 31st. So I think more information of that should usually go out through our Portland store social media, our IG account. So kind of keep an eye out for there if you want to sign up and participate.
Yep.
And then after that, right, we'll start going into like Snow Peak Way season. We'll have June, which should be the first Washington one, right?
Well, it's the first one for the
Yeah,
year.
it's the
And
first
then,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. Obviously, there's a lot of you who wanted to go who couldn't get a ticket because it's sold out.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that, there aren't people who tend to kind of cancel and then spots open up all of a sudden. So for those of you who did want to actually go to this Snow Peak Way, just send us an email to portland.store with interest. And as soon as we find out that a spot opens up, we can reach out to you and, offer you a spot to get in. Snow Peak Way is very challenging to get in, and it gets more difficult year after year because you have a lot of repeat visitors in the past. And it's a great way to kind of, for those of you who have families, to bring out the kids so they kind of get to play around with other kids while you just get to hang out with the other adults. And there's plenty.
That's a great way to put it. Yes.
Yeah, and there's plenty of activities to keep the kids distracted, to keep the adults distracted as well. It's a fun experience overall for everyone, and you just get to meet people from kind of all parts of the country because people travel from everywhere to come to these. We've had groups from Canada come down. We've seen groups from Korea come over, right? Southern California. We've had people from
East Coast.
The East Coast come out to the West Coast ones and vice versa. They're great events. If you can definitely get a ticket to go, try to go to at least one of them. But yeah, if you ever tried going to one of these and couldn't get a ticket, just reach out and we can always try to get your details. And as soon as we find out that something opens up, we can reach out. It's always right, first come, first serve. So don't hesitate about trying to get on kind of a callback list for a ticket.
Let Manny know.
Yeah.
That's great. I think the big one this year for Snow Peak Way is Big Sur. I mean, how many of you guys are from California? Hands up in the chat right here. Hit that comment because I know all the Californian friends are really excited about Big Sur. Tickets haven't released yet, but I wish you guys luck because I think it's gonna be sold out within seconds. That's exciting. Are you planning to go to Big Sur?
Unfortunately, it's gonna be the price wise, it's gonna be size wise or per person.
For Big
Big
Sur, I am not too involved with the planning aspect of the Snow Peak Way, so I'm not sure what the pricing structure is going to be like for Big Sur. If they are doing it by head or by spot, that information, I guess, once the announcement for the tickets will be there. And from what I've heard, I believe tickets for Big Sur and the second Washington one should be happening towards the end of the month.
Yep.
So make sure all of you are signed up for the loyalty members, because that's where those tickets are going to go to. You've got, based on your tier, that's how your access to these tickets will be.
I mean, I recommend you guys just taking the morning off of work and just to reserve for Snow Peak Way. I mean, if it's that important, you should do it because it does get very competitive for reserving for Snow Peak Way, and definitely Big Sur is the new addition, and it looks like such a great fun event.
Yeah, Big Sur is going to be the one that everyone, especially all the Cals in a row, it would sell out instantly for both weekends.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm really happy for all the Californians and everybody else that wants to visit Big Sur that there is a Snow Peak Way down in California, so a little closer to home, because every year they would have to drive to Campfield or fly up. So it's a little challenging for them, but hey, yeah.
Okay, let's answer some of the questions.
Okay, so let's move on to answering some questions. So we're open to questions. Ask away in the comment.
Here's some of the questions. Number one, any suggestion for 12 people, the shelters and tents?
Ooh, for people who are looking for height, especially when you're on the taller end of the spectrum, our taller offerings that I usually recommend for people, right? If you are on a budget and want a small footprint, that's going to be your Alpha Breeze. If you want a lot of headspace and a bigger setup in general, I've always steered people towards a Landlock. And now that we have this new land nest shelter. This is a good option as well because it gives you a pretty consistent headspace in there as well. And the price point is very accessible for what it is. And then another option, which has been great, has been the Living Shell Long Pro. But that one does taper in its kind of headspace. You really have maybe about a 5-foot section where the headspace is there and generous.
I think the Landlock is probably the most generous for
Yes.
tall people. If you're looking for a big shelter, I mean, it's pretty even throughout.
Yes.
The height of the shelter is pretty even throughout.
Yeah, and especially the inner room for the Landlock has way more consistent headspace. Because even as generous as this land nest is, the back side of the inner tent does taper off quickly. Yeah, well, the Landlock just has way more generous headspace in there.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Any like suggestion like to clean to keep it dark after using under the fire? Like there's a smell for it or like residue.
Yeah, so kind of maintenance for the Takibi tarp. There really isn't much you can do. The liner, besides it being kind of that fire resistant fabric, it's also designed to pretty much take the bulk of the smoke that is kind of going into it, and that's what's really absorbing it versus just the normal outer tarp fly. But there really isn't much that we would suggest that you do, so you're not removing kind of like the coating layers that make it fire resistant and weatherproofed. Here, this is like the first time in a while where I haven't had the tarp set up in the store, but the tarp that I generally have displayed here is one that I pulled from demo. You can see footprints on it from when people used it and stepped on it while packing it up, and it's barely noticeable. I have to point stuff out to people for to see the stains. Yes, when we have used some of the tarps and brought them in here to air out because it was raining and we wanted to put it away dry, it did have the smoky kind of smell to it, but if you just kind of let it breathe, it eventually does just kind of dissipate and go away.
Yeah, but I camp so much that it's like that smell's never gonna go away. It's within my camping clothing, so I have a set for everything. But definitely, what you don't want to do is put it in a washing machine, because you don't want to do that. Or like pressure washing it is a no either. Or like using like strong detergent, it's a no. Spot clean it. What I would do is put like a few drops of maybe dish cleaner, not like Dawn or anything, but in a bottle with some water, and then I just like spray the spot, and then just try to take a toothbrush and gently brush it or something like that. But honestly, like I don't even clean mine. I mean, I just leave it as it is.
So
it's been working out fine.
To get rid of the smells.
I mean, you can put some fragrance on it. That's the only way, but there's no real way to do it.
For the smells, really, it's just having it set up outside and just letting the air do what it needs to do to air it out. But it's always going to be challenging, especially if you use it regularly, is like you use it once a month. That smell will probably just stay on it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
Is there any bigger size on apparel gonna be available?
Like larger, like X large?
Yeah, so
Larger than like the one that you guys have.
Yeah, so when it comes to the apparel, I understand the people who need something bigger than the XLs that we will make. There's only a few pieces. It's generally in the Flex Insulated family. So the Flex Insulated shirts, cardigans, pullovers, those will come in a 2XL, but the bulk of the other items will usually just be XL. It's something that's been requested, but it doesn't seem there have been enough requests for Japan to make that decision to start making the next size up. because it goes in the opposite end where I have people here who cannot fit into, like, a size 1 is still big on them.
Mm,
And a size 1 is like an equivalent to an extra small, or even some silhouettes like a double extra small.
wow.
So I understand that it's tough when you live in one of those kind of ends of the bell curve for sizing.
Yep.
I have seen, though, with certain silhouettes, the way they're designed and styled, a piece where I would traditionally want to wear a medium, I actually end up having to go to a small. So there might be some pieces that may work for you if you do need that bigger silhouette.
Yeah. Great.
I'm not sure if you know the answer for it. You know, tariffs is going to affect the pricing.
So this is something that I asked before the live stream because I knew it's going to be on a lot of your minds. And the short answer is no. The tariffs are not going to affect the price points for Snow Peak product, at least for a year or two, because we don't operate in the same way that most companies do here in the States, where those who are importing, they are buying their product from a supplier overseas. We are our own supplier, so it won't impact us the way it will impact kind of the rest of kind of like the outdoor industry. So for those of you who have been sort of on the fence about whether or not you should be, short answer is no, it's not going to affect us in the near future.
But it might have an effect in the long term.
Long term down the line, but that is no different from businesses in general doing their yearly kind of like price increases. And, it's been a while since we've done anything like that here.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Like 2-3 years. 2 years.
Yeah. So I don't expect for there to be an impact on pricing.
Yep.
We're almost done. So it's going to be any like bug protection, like the pearls going to be available?
Bug protection.
We
Yeah.
usually,
Like,
we usually have the insect shield collection. And at least for our store, we've tried bringing it in the past, and it just kind of sits around until, we decide to send it back to the warehouse. So it's just sold on e-com, and that's when all of a sudden people want to buy it. I didn't get a chance to see the samples for what should be the insect collection for this year. So I don't have too many details, because since it's something I don't keep in store, I sort of forget that we sell, because I personally have one of the insect jackets from 2020 that I love taking for summer camping. Because that's a piece that I only take out camping, and it does a great job at kind of keeping the mosquitoes and whatnot off me.
You should definitely get your employees to like wear the insect shield. That way when people walk in the store, they can visually see the effects and how it looks, and be, more upsells, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, next question.
I heard that you have a free stock lemons.
Yeah.
When is going to be available online?
Online probably won't be available. Shows up. The amount that we got in, we just got our kind of allocation for the store. So I think until there is enough inventory to make sense to put on the website, it'll go on the website.
My guess is midsummer. I'm guessing, but
it might be. It just depends if the boat is stuck in traffic. But for those of you who had seen this months ago, have been keeping track, like I said, I have 3 right now in store. We can ship out to you if you're not nearby. You just need to give us a call once the store opens at 11, and we can get this kind of sorted for you. And as a little kind of incentive, I would say for anyone who does call, I still have a couple of the Darumas that we kind of had gifted earlier in the year. So for those of you who wanted one of these, all right,
you get one. Oh my goodness.
I have 2 left. So
Two left.
the
So-
2 people who want a land nest shelter, you will get a Daruma head with it as well.
Okay, one last.
I told you guys Manny's very convincing.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, are we gonna make a cookbook? I don't know.
Cookbook, it's been the talk, but it's just like,
It's my decision.
yeah, it's Mrs. Campalot's decision, and I don't know. I thought about it. Maybe it might happen one day, but yeah, I would love for it to happen. It's just time and time, mostly time.
Okay, let me think about
Yeah.
it. I think time's up. We need to choose the winner.
Okay, great. Give me like a few minutes to get the data sorted out for the entries, and Manny will pick a random number and get it to work.
Oh, in the meantime, we're waiting. Collapsible IDP is
Oh,
gonna be available?
yeah. I guess for those of you who on the website, the 4-unit and 3-unit collapsible frames are sold out. I still have a few of each of these in stores. So same thing. If you wanted one and you don't live local, you can call us and we can ship one of these out to you, or whatever it is that you need. But I still have a few that are just for kind of in-store purposes only. So if you did want a collapsible frame and didn't get a chance when they restocked a week ago, I still have some here.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's see here.
You gonna go with Manny?
Hmm. Okay, I got everything set up, 187 entries. So let's pick from number 1 to 187 a random number.
Oh, okay.
Manny, you have your phone? My phone's occupied right now.
I do have a phone. What am I looking up?
From random number from 1 to 187.
From 1 to 187.
Yep.
And I am going to hit generate, and 47 is
All right.
the number.
47. Let's take a look on our data sheet here. Okay, no. My daughter's being playful. She's trying to get the tripod. Okay, the winner is going to be Outdoors with Camp. That's the username. It's an Instagram account. So are you here? Can you chime in? I'm not sure if you're on Instagram or Facebook or on YouTube. Camp. Give him about like 30 seconds to chime in.
Oh, yeah. From YouTube. Here.
He's got to be here. That's the rule. Okay, so we're going to select another one because that person's
No,
not.
wait.
Hey.
And from YouTube. Kiara?
Yeah, but that's his cousin. It says it's not him, so
Okay.
he's not here. So we're going to pick another number. Manny, take it away.
The new number is 168.
168.
Hi, Christina.
Myung Hwan, Hwanuism on Instagram. Myung Hwan. Myung Hwan. Myung Hwan. Like 30 seconds or so. Big girl. Come here, big girl. No? Yeah. Somebody says hi, Manny, on Instagram.
Okay, Manny.
Do another one, Manny. Whoa. He's sleeping. You guys can't sleep. Sleeping is for Evelyn.
All right. The new number is 34.
34. Okay, let's see here. Jetty Hilling. Huh?
Oh, honey, Tim is here.
Oh, okay. Great.
Oh, he's driving, so.
Oh,
he's
okay.
there.
Okay, he's driving. Okay, well, congratulations, Myung Han. Can you we can reach out to him on Instagram, right? Did he respond on Instagram?
Yo, Juan is him, right?
Okay, yeah, I'll DM you. And yeah, we'll send you a Takibi Hexa tart. Takibi Hexa tart. It'll get shipped out next week from the Snow Peak warehouse. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, and we hope to have more of this event in the future. Thanks so much. Bye.